This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tel Tanner.
Oh, back for another season of the Lancer Locker. I have been so excited to hear that intro and get back into this booth because that means fall sports are finally here. The Lancer football team is playing this weekend. Lancer volleyball has already played a couple of games. We've had golf meets. We've had soccer matches. This has already started, and we're finally back in the booth. My name is Tel Tanner. This is KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. Today, we're talking football. We are talking football with two coaches from the university. Head coach John Micheletti was in the booth earlier today, and we had the co-offensive coordinator and offensive play caller in Josh Lewis in the booth today as well. I got to speak with both of those guys to start the year on a busy day for Mount Marty, so I was really appreciative of them to be able to kind of give me the time to be able to get out all of this done. So that was super cool of them, and I'm looking forward to y'all hearing these talks. Today, obviously, with the football team, we talked about the new additions to the team. There's a new quarterback, a new wide receiver one, new running back one. There's a bunch of changes to the defensive side of things, but there's a lot of returning faces. You're going to see guys like Trevor Fitzgerald, Rex Reichen, Jacob Lambeth, Gabe Baptista, Dalen Norman. You're going to see Patrick Perkins, all your favorites, all back, and we're going to have a good year for Mount Marty University football. They got 3 wins this last year, still in the infancy of the program, really. In that third year, they got 3 wins. Once again, we'll remind you of how long it takes in the GPAC. There have been other schools that have taken upwards of 8 years to get 2 wins in a season. Lancers did it in 3. They did it in 3, and or 2 actually, and then they did it again last year with 3. And they beat Culver Stockton, who's their first game of the year this upcoming Saturday, beat Briar Cliff, and then that road win versus Midland. Coming back, getting 3 touchdowns in a row, down 21-7. They get 3 in a row to go win it at Midland. That was super cool to watch, and we're looking forward to what they do this year. First game of the year this Saturday, 5 p.m. in Canton, Missouri versus Culver Stockton College. We've got coverage of it right here on KYNT and KYN-TV. You can watch the game. Once again, we can't really film conference games. Home team gets to film in the GPAC as usual, but in a non-conference game, we got permission to take a camera with us. Only one camera. We're going to have one angle, but it's going to be beautiful. I'm very much looking forward to that. Steve Toom and I, myself, Tel Tanner, are going to be on the call for all of these Lancer games. Braden Butler is going to be running our camera again this year. But once again, let's talk about Lancers. We've got a few games already in the books for a couple different sports. We'll run through them real quick. The Lancers volleyball team went 3-1 over the weekend in Clark University tournament. The Lancers beat Clark 3-1 and swept Calumet College 3-0 on Friday. Saturday, MMU swept the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, but they did fall to Michigan Dearborn 3-2. The Lancers return to action on the 30th and 31st. That is this Friday and Saturday. They take on Graceland, Tabor, Culver Stockton, and William Penn in a 2-day event. So the Lancer volleyball team off to a good start. Let's see if they keep it rolling this weekend. I'm looking forward to talking with the coaches of Mount Marty volleyball this year as well. And then Mount Marty soccer and golf both played. The Mount Marty men's golf team hits the course today for the season opening MMU invite in Yankton. They've been out there all day. We're going to have full results of it tomorrow morning on Totally Yankton with Jeff Erickson. They're playing Hillcrest today. They will play tomorrow at Fox Run here in Yankton. For the soccer teams, both men's and women's soccer teams were swept in their doubleheader against York on Friday, unfortunately. The Lancer men were defeated by York 1-0. The women fell to the Panthers 3-0. Both teams do return to action on Friday, doubleheader against Bethany College in Lindsborg, Kansas. That's where they're going to be for that one. That's kind of your Lancer week in review. I'm looking forward to the upcoming week. We're going to have the president of Mount Marty University in Mark Long here on Wednesday. He's coming back in the booth. We're going to play that conversation on Saturday as well at halftime of this upcoming Culver Stockton game. We're also going to be talking with Jacob Lambeth, one of the big guys on the defensive side of things, a very big playmaker that we're going to be able to talk to for Saturday as well for our pregame show. That's going to do for our intro here. With that, let's go ahead and take a little break. We're going to come back and go straight to this interview for Mount Marty football. Head coach John Micheletti, co-offensive coordinator and offensive play caller, and Josh Lewis, both in the booth, coming up in a couple of minutes right here on KYNT.
You can get expert eye care in Yankton with Avera Medical Group Wilcox and Eye Associates. Here, eye diseases and injuries receive the best care because we offer the newest surgical techniques, supported by the best technology. We'd be honored to be on the forefront of your eye care. Learn more by visiting avera.org/Wilcoxon. avera.org/Wilcoxon.
Wellness should feel good and taste good. That's why Alani Nu offers a range of delicious energy drinks to support your goals while bringing bright, bold flavors to your daily routine. Whether you want to hit your last rep, beat the competition, or simply balance your hormones, do it all with an Alani Nu energy drink in hand, promising to increase physical performance and boost focus with just 10 calories and no sugar or gluten. Alani Nu energy drinks are a healthy way to fuel your fun. Stock up today.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
Farming is hard work. Between managing crops, livestock, and equipment, there's not much time left to handle financing and loans. At Dakota Mac, we can help you do the heavy lifting when it comes to ag financing. Whether you're a full-time farmer, an investor, or a young and beginning farmer, we're here for you for all your ag lending needs. Let Dakota Mac help you work smarter, not harder.
Hi, it's Jeff Wolfgram from Dakota Mac. Call us at 800-682-4578 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
At Triple Time Rudy's, not only do you get top-notch fuel to keep you on the move, but it's a destination for delicious local treats. You'll find quality South Dakota products like Dimmick cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. It's your community's pit stop for more than just fuel. Triple Time Rudy's supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, stop by Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker. My name is Tel Tanner. We are back here for another season of Mount Marty University football. The Lancer Locker is underway. We're going to have a whole bunch of different coaches and athletes from a bunch of different sports here throughout the fall, the winter, and the spring, and this is the first show of the year. So we're talking football. We've got the head coach of Mount Marty football in John Micheletti and a co-offensive coordinator, the offensive play caller in Coach Josh Lewis. We've got a couple of really good guys in the studio. Thank you both for coming back. It's been a moment since I've got to talk to you.
Yeah, it feels good to be back in here, hot on the mic, and a little hot outside as well. So there you go.
No kidding. It's been hot practices, but that prepares you for September college football. It's always hot, especially with a turf field. You raise the temperature 10 degrees. We've had 100-degree days when we were playing the last couple of years. What do you expect over the next couple of weeks? How have you been able to prepare outside for some of the weather you're going to see?
Yeah, actually, right out of the gate, fall camp, beginning of August, we were blessed with some, 70s and low 80s. So it was about perfect, But now it's time to get us ready for getting ready to play down in Missouri. So it's about time to get that heat here. But it's definitely nice having multiple facilities to be able to use throughout fall camp. Having our own there on Westside Park, and just having a bunch of land to be able to spread out all the guys is nice. And then rain or storms of any side, being able to go inside, and then being able to get on the game field too at Crane Youngworth is always nice. So it's definitely a luxury being able to have those type of facilities that allows us to be able to move around and get things done when we need to instead of having to hold out and wait. So definitely a blessing.
You mentioned Crane Youngworth, and I'm very excited to get back there, but it's going to take a minute before you get back there, John. You got September 21st. It's actually the homecoming game. It's the first time you get to be at home. You got a road schedule at Culver Stockton this Saturday. We're going to talk about that in depth coming up. And then a night game versus Dakota Wesleyan in week 2, and then Northwestern. That'll be a big road test over in Orange City. Can you tell me about your early schedule? 3 games to start off the year.
Yeah, we obviously saw this coming, especially when we had the Culver deal and home to home. But it's a good opportunity for us to get on the road, get away, test ourselves. It's always a little bit of adversity for you to be able to test a overnight trip. So, and it's out of conference. So I always love opening up the season with an out of conference, guys. It's allows us to prep a little bit for the GPAC conference and stuff. So, we don't look at it as a negative by any means. We're really just looking at Culver right now and what we got to do to take care of business on Saturday.
That was certainly a fun game last year. It came down to the wire. They had a really interesting thing in that late game. Quarterback lost his head, got thrown out in a pretty crucial moment. You were able to take advantage and get the win at home after a very good defensive stand. It was really interesting. What are you expecting from Culver Stockton in their fight this year? How did they look versus how do you look?
Yeah, there's obviously going to be errors always in game one, and then that's obviously what you're trying to limit as much as possible and fixing throughout fall camp. As you saw last year, we got down 14-0, but our guys were able to keep in a level head and stick to our plan. We didn't see us guys trying to get 14 points back on the board right away, and I understood it took one play at a time, and being able to tie it up there before half, and then being able to handle ourselves the right way. And that's one thing we constantly hit on is doing your 1/11th and representing the team the best you can, and everybody's guilty at some point of losing their head a little bit, but in that case it definitely hurt their team and put them at a little bit more of a disadvantage. So definitely hope our guys learn from that as well. Looking at this year, they have some new faces. Obviously everybody's got some new faces. It's a new team every year, but they got a young O-line, got a quarterback that transferred in from Western Illinois, so he comes in with a little bit of stars in his eyes, but not that much experience with the play calling stuff. So he's hopefully to get under his skin and rattle him a little bit. They have always had speed on the edge. That'll be one of our biggest things that we'll have to adapt to quickly is how fast they are on the edge and all that. And hopefully that our physicality on the edge will counter that well. Their defense, they've got some long, lengthy athletes as well at defensive back. They have a defensive end that they love a lot, number 0, last name in Fowler. I got some new guys around them, though, at the linebacking core. So first game of the year, there's going to be a lot of question marks, and it's best, what I think best at least is to prepare our guys for the game of football and allow those guys to be able to sort things out, because there's no matter what you prepare for, there's going to be something new. There's something that we haven't seen based off last year's film. Maybe they changed up a scheme of some sort. So really focusing on ourselves and putting our best product out there is the main goal.
Scheduling-wise, sounds like a good way to start the year. A road test right away, an opponent that is about the same as you in terms of the final score last year. You're able to really get a test. That's good.
Exactly. And, obviously special teams, definitely got to talk about those guys as well. And, there were some big plays on special teams last year, with the kickoffs being tackled inside the 10-yard line and, certain blocks and things like that to force a bad punt and things like that we got to make sure that we do and, do the little things right, winning on third down and winning within the goal line, running the ball, stopping the run, things like that will be our main focuses.
And you mentioned some new faces. I'm looking forward to talking about your new faces on your both offensive, defense, and special team side of the balls here. But first off, I want to go over your coaching staff. Obviously, there's always a little bit of turnover, but for the most part, you've had the same core group for 4-5 years pretty much straight here at Mount Marty. Can you tell me about your coaching staff this year and who we're going to see on the sidelines?
Yeah, very blessed to have a good core group of guys to surround myself with. And as you see a team continuously grow and get better year to year, that's obviously one thing that we've definitely noticed with the staff as well. Starting on the offensive side, Coach Josh Lewis continued to be our play caller on the offensive side.
Who's sitting right next to you? Don't say anything bad about him.
No, he stinks a little bit. But then we have Coach Zook as our co-OC O-line coach. We'll have Coach Wiebelhaus. He's been promoted to full-time. He's done an outstanding job in the recruiting game. Very, very detail-oriented. Love the guy to death. So he's glad to have him stick around. Coach Chasen Gempler is our quarterbacks coach and does a little bit of work with receivers as well. And then on the defensive side, I'll be calling the plays for the defense there, and Coach Heck will be assisting me, being the co-DC. Help me a lot with the pass game. Coach Sorensen, Andrew Sorensen, he'll help me with the D-line. We also have Coach Sam Guest working with the D-line, and Coach Peyton Ludeman with our outside backers. So got a few new gratuses in there that gotten their feet wet in the coaching world, and those guys have continuously grinded and make our lives a little bit easier each day. So definitely blessed to have a good group of coaches.
Let's turn now to Coach Josh Lewis. You've been sitting here all quietly waiting for me to ask you a question, so we'll get over to you, Coach. First off, as you get into this year, some of the changes on the offensive side of the ball are going to be really interesting to see, especially with new faces. Got to be the number one thing that people are going to notice. You're going to have a new QB1, going to have a new RB1, going to have a new wide receiver 1. It's going to be really interesting. Can you tell me about some of the new faces and some of the changes to the offense this year?
Yeah, so our identity will still be the same. We want to run the football. We believe in that. So that is still our philosophy, and that'll help set up stuff on the back end. So we want to run the football first. Our quarterback situation, we're going to have a new face there. It looks like Rugby Riken will be our guy for game 1 to be our starter, local town hero. So he's had an awesome he had an awesome spring ball too, and then this fall camp he's just gotten better and better. So the stuff that he can do on the field is awesome, especially with his legs. He can extend plays, which is good to see. The running back room, this is probably the strongest and physically strong running back room we've had. We have our top 4 backs can squat 500 or more pounds. Wow. So that is something that is different from the past.
Yeah.
So a couple names there: Malachi Hartz, who transferred here back in January. Ishmael Sloan transferred here in January, and then Kyle Hirsch is another kid that had to sit out last year due to transfer rules in the GPAC, and so he's eligible now. Then you have Jaden Horach, Hooch, who's still there.
Everybody loves Hooch.
Oh, yeah. So very strong, powerful backs, and so I'm excited to see them get rolling and trying to hit somebody else besides our own defense in fall camp. So very physical there. And then our receiving core, so I have some seniority guys there, and then had to replace our ex-receiver, and so Rodney Broadnax has done an outstanding job as a new young cat. He was here last year, kind of took his time learning the playbook, and so we're really excited to see him go. And then we'll kind of shuffle some other guys around those position groups. But Jackson Walholtz has also done an outstanding job so far in fall camp. So
it's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that depth at the running back position.
Yeah.
Everybody needs depth at running back. That is just true in college football. Everybody gets banged up at certain times. You got to have different guys. So you've got 4 guys that are squatting 500 and more guys that can play. That's super cool.
Yes, it's awesome. It's very exciting to see.
Tell me about the offensive line.
Offensive line. So we have Patrick Perkins, Big P as he's called. He's
who I've heard has put in a lot of work this last offseason.
Yes, he has cut a lot of weight. He's a lot healthier. He has looked amazing. He's done an outstanding job. Anil Pastrana is still up there. We have a new center. Cooper Sizdek, we slid over into that role, and then Jeremy Roderick is a new cat that we got. And then right guard is Xavier Gable. And then we'll also spell a couple, some different guys in that role. And then our right tackle is a new transfer that we got in January, Lionel Whittingham, who's also done an outstanding job at filling that role. And then also Jonas Kelp can also play interior and at tackle. So feel really good about the guys up front. We have a lot of experience. A lot of those guys are seniors, and so they know what college football is about. And then Lionel Whittingham is an older cat as well, so he has quite a bit of experience as well. So really excited about that.
We're going to take a break on the Lancer Locker, come back with more of these two in just a couple minutes. Mount Marty Football on a Monday.
Looking for a dealer you can count on? You'll find it at Lewis & Clark Ford. This is Brandon Tykerl. We've got a great inventory selection of new and used inventory, knowledgeable staff, and prices that can't be beat. We also have on site Lewis & Clark Marine, and prices are slashed on all of our new and used boats. The season is ending and we need to sell these boats now. Lewis & Clark Ford and Lewis & Clark Marine, 4th and Capitol, Yankton.
What's the best beverage to enjoy while rooting on your team? 1919 root beer, of course. 1919 is brewed in small batches with only the finest ingredients, real sugar and real vanilla. The unique recipe and these choice ingredients make 1919 the creamiest, full-bodied draft root beer available. Find it in 12-packs and single-serve cans at grocery, convenience stores, and restaurants. 1919 is alcohol-free and contains no caffeine, making it a beverage of choice at any time for anyone in the family.
It's day one of your new career. Parker of Yankton has immediate openings for material handlers, machine operators, and setups for both day and night shifts. Along with a full benefits package beginning your first day on the job, Parker is offering a second shift pay differential of $235 plus a $1,000 retention bonus. Paid vacation, sick leave, 13 paid holidays, medical, dental, vision, supplemental, and paid life insurance all begin day one. Quarterly profit sharing and a 5% matching 401k plan. Fully vested on day one. Apply now at parker.com.
Parker, engineering your success.
Everyone loves something different about our buffet, which is good because buffet has something for everyone. This is Annie from Yankton Pizza Ranch. Come in and fill your plate with good food that makes you feel good inside. Don't see your favorite pizza on the buffet? Request it using Buffet Your Way. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the very first slice. Grab the country's best chicken paired with tasty sides and finish off with sweet cactus bread at Yankton Pizza Ranch.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker, once again talking Mount Marty football today with Josh Lewis, John Micheletti, a couple of guys from Mount Marty University. We were just speaking with Coach Lewis about the offense, and I still want to talk about that a little bit more. You talked about some of the players we're going to see. Now I want to talk a little more philosophy. When it comes to some of the things you were able to do over the last couple of years, last year in particular, you averaged 109 rushing yards a game, averaged 224 passing yards a game. You had a guy in Ken Gay who was just slinging the ball in terms of throwing touchdowns. Obviously, you went down the field a lot. At one point, he was top 5 in the nation, and you had multiple guys with 10-plus receiving touchdowns. Can you tell me about the offensive philosophy? You said you want to establish the run, but give me a little more in depth.
Yeah. So, again, just building on that, we want to establish the run game first. And so what that helps us do is help set up the play-action pass game. That's what really helped last year with Ken a lot, because it's kind of ironic. We were a very run-first team, and then we did really well in the pass game statistically, so it's the irony there.
It opens it up.
Yep. And so, but this year, we still like to, motion around. We like to shift, just to window dress the things that we're doing. But there'll be a little bit more, I'd say, on the perimeter when you have a quarterback that can play the way that rugby does. And so it'll open up, I don't want to give away everything here, but
I know.
It'll open up some different opportunities that we were not able to do last year with Ken. So the philosophy is still the same, and so we will look the same. There'll just be some more creative things we're probably doing on the perimeter that we haven't done.
And when it comes to, you just mentioned Rugby Reich and your quarterback, running play action with a young quarterback like Rugby, can you tell me about his mental side of things, the way you've been working with him, studying up in film and getting him ready for that?
Yeah, so Rugby he's a winner, and he is probably one of the most, if not the most competitive person on our team. So all summer, obviously he's here in town. He had individual workouts with Coach Gempler, just doing the same stuff over and over so he can drill the mechanics in his head of how to operate. And so they operated in the field house with workouts. They would sit down either with me or Coach Gempler and do film study just from game film of last year, anything like that. And so he has a very high football IQ of what we're trying to do. And that's what's really important with our quarterback is how do we want this offense to operate? Can you operate it in that manner? And Rugby does a really good job of understanding what we want to do. Doesn't try to force big plays, not trying to, be risky with the football, which is what we like. Big take what the defense gives you mentality. And then when the opportunity arises, like, hey, I need to extend a play to make something happen, he does so. And so his football IQ is through the roof. He's much like his older brother. So we're really excited about him. And like I said, he's a winner and a competitor. So we're excited to see him get rolling.
I just wanted to mention the older brother, the guy named by Rex Reichen, a guy that Lancer fans are very familiar with at this point. He's made a lot of plays over the year. It's got to be good for a young quarterback to have a bit of a safety blanket in one of the best tight ends in the country. If your play's breaking down, you need to know where to go. you can find that guy most of the time. And obviously you have a pretty veteran wide receiver core in general. You've got a lot of seniors and juniors opposite Rex Reichen, who is in his 12th year of eligibility, who can come in and catch passes. Can you tell me what that's going to do for a young quarterback?
Yeah, so Rex and Rugby have a really good connection, obviously being brothers, and Rex has done an awesome job of taking him under his wing at practice and helping guiding him. So that's really cool to see. Trevor Fitzgerald, also, they're really close, obviously being Yankton guys. So those older guys that know the scheme really well also help out having a younger quarterback because they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And so the timing of stuff is really well. And then when they go off on the sideline, they're really good at communicating with each other of the details of a play. It needs to be like this. And so that definitely helps a young quarterback knowing that he has veteran guys around him because he can trust that they're going to be where they're supposed to be. So
with that, let's go ahead and turn our attention back to Coach John Micheletti, who is both head coach and defensive coordinator, play caller. Let's talk about this defensive side of the ball, Coach. First off, I've met a couple of the new transfers in this last basketball season, January. I got to talk with a lot of these guys. Some real personalities on the defensive side of things, which you always love to see. Tell me about some of these transfers you brought in.
Yeah, definitely playing defense myself. I always say you got to be a little bit different to play on the defensive side. So like to hear that as long as it's all positive, but definitely got some guys in to challenge some spots, provide some more depth, which obviously is always the recipe for success, is having depth where you can have success for the longevity of the season. So a little bit everywhere. Got some new guys in the defensive backfield, at the D line, linebacker, things like that. So eager to get these guys on the field together to actually prove it against somebody else. So that's the next step.
And with that, you've got some returners that are going to be just cornerstones on this defense, obviously. But it seems like a lot of new faces, both offensively and defensively. It's one of those years where it's kind of a turnover year where you've got a lot of different guys in kind of the first year of the scheme. But a lot of these guys came in at semester, so they got a little bit of time. Can you tell me about getting everybody up to speed?
Yeah, getting guys through spring ball is one of the most important things. So being able to, if you're going to transfer, getting you in January is very crucial for the learning of the schemes and all that stuff. So, having older guys definitely has helped, much like what Coach Lewis was saying. The John Carlstead, the Tyrell Klein, the Dalen Norman, the Cam Middleton, Jacob Lambeth, like those, Gabe Baptista, constantly are holding individual meetings, with their position group, which obviously makes my life a lot easier. And
those player-led meetings?
Exactly.
That's nice.
It's huge, and it's started right away, with I know Lambeth for sure was calling in all the freshman linebackers over to his apartment, the first night. And it was just like, hey, this is going over install so they could get going on things. And I've always told those older guys, the more that you can teach obviously allows you to then be able to grasp more information because there's things that you can pick up. And that was one thing that I wish I would have done better at as a player in my playing days. In my first year being a GA, I just remember reflecting like, man, if I knew any of this, it just would have helped me so much more. So we're bringing some of those older guys in and allowing them to sit in grading meetings and things like that where they're almost put in a coaching role, which will hopefully allow their brains to expand quite a bit and help with more of that stuff so we can, in the end, put the best product on there and really develop these guys because that's what our job's doing. So very blessed to have a good group of core seniors and leaders, but also young guys that are hungry and humble at the same time to learn from them.
Let's do the same thing we did with offense. Let's talk philosophy for a little bit, your scheme on the defensive side of things. What are you looking to do this year?
Yeah, obviously, any type of defense, you want to make sure you don't get beat by alignment. So we will stress the exact alignment, where your eyes are at, where's the weight distribution on your feet, all that stuff has been nailed in their heads now for a few weeks. But our main goal is to make sure we stop the run. If you can stop the run and make them one-dimensional, then it becomes pretty fun at that point because that's when you get to do all the different fancy pressures and sub-packages and all that stuff. So we want to make sure that everybody when they put on our tape that they see how tough we are on the edge, that it's not going to be able to RPO. It is a big RPO conference, and I do think they let a lot of things go on the edge, but this isn't the time to vent about that stuff. But it's very different this year, having some different guys out there that will be able to set edges and get off blocks and have the confidence to do that stuff. So we may be move around a little bit more than we've had in the years in the past, but the shell and all that pre-snap alignment should look very similar to how we've been the last few years.
Talk about the conference itself for a moment now. When we talk about the GPAC, they're always trying to make changes. There's a reason they're one of the best conferences in the NAIA for sure. Some of the changes this year, obviously coming in, they're trying to implement replay. They're trying to implement coach challenges, things like that. Have you looked into that and how you're going to kind of use those this year?
Yeah, it not as much as we'd all like, but I think no matter what, that would be the answer. Yeah. Until you get into that first game, we were able to play around with it a little bit at the DAC State scrimmage last Thursday. And, I mean, it's fun. It's definitely nice as a coach where you can, 2 seconds after the play's over, you can go back and watch the play and, this is what went wrong, get it addressed and fixed. The challenge part, it will be fun for those blatantly obvious wrong calls,
right?
Which everybody messes up, but being able to get those corrected for the experience of the athlete's sake, I think is beneficial. I do think that it will be abused and overused this year, though, and I'm not saying I'll be perfect by any means, but it'll definitely not be like Sunday night football or Monday night football,
where there's 3 a quarter.
Exactly, and that's my biggest thing that we talked about in the coaches' meetings is understanding where the camera angles are. Like, we don't have a pile on camera, so like me throwing a challenge flag for if it broke the plane or not might not be useful because we probably don't have that camera angle. But if you go back to last year, a game or a play that sticks out was the Jamestown game when they tried to surprise onside and they blocked before the ball got there. Something like that. Yes, but it'll help in certain situations, but I don't see it being affected every game with the challenge stuff. I think the sideline reviews and all that stuff that we can have with the iPads will be awesome, and it only allow us to do a better job coaching our kids, which will hopefully put a better product on the field and make it more entertaining. So
yeah, absolutely. Another change that GPAC made this year was the GPAC Network. They're trying to make games easier to find so people can find Lancer games and everybody else a little easier. You seem excited as soon as I mentioned that. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, very excited. Definitely helped out my dad a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that struggles to, all right, where I got to go to find this game. So a one-stop shop for following all the games is awesome. I think it's another step of showing why the GPAC is at the top, and it's not just the coaches, it's not just the players, it's everything involved, and it's an overall product. And just like I always say, in order for a school to be successful, a conference to be successful, business to be successful, whatever that is, everybody's got to be pulling the rope in that same direction. And it's a great example of what the GPAC's doing to even make sure that we stay on top of everybody.
And it seemed kind of a bit of a compliment for the commissioner of the GPAC to do the announcement, the press conference at Mount Marty University. He could have just done it at headquarters or somewhere else, but he chose Mount Marty. That seemed to be pretty nice too.
Yeah, that's nice, and obviously, a lot of that work was done here. Sure. Starting with a lot of people in this building. So, very thankful for that, and a great, exciting thing to look forward to this year.
We're going to take one final break. We'll come back and finish it up with these two guys here on KYNT. All right, we're back here on the Lancer Locker, getting ready for week 1, or week 0, I suppose. We're getting into preseason play for GPAC Conference, Mount Marty versus Culver Stockton coming up this Saturday, 5 p.m. We've got coverage right here on KYNT. And I've still got these two coaches in the booth with John Micheletti and Josh Lewis. Guys, let's finally talk about this game itself. You're going all the way to Canton, Missouri. You're all the way to Culver Stockton College. You got the win over them last year. You're going to try and get the 2-season sweep over them home and away. What needs to happen in order to get this win?
I think right out of the bat, we got to make sure that we're able to calm the nerves, so being able to get out there and get there a little bit early, go through a pregame stretch and all of that stuff, and keeping our guys light but stretched out and loose, So, and then offense being able to take care of the ball. Like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. We got to make sure that we limit those, make sure the mistakes are minor, so, there'll probably be a missed tackle or two or a missed block, making sure that they're the smallest errors that we could possibly make, taking care of the ball, forcing a few turnovers, and winning the kicking game, so I think that'll be the best thing that we can do. And as we mentioned, our philosophies on offense and defense, and making sure that we stick to the plan, and making sure at the end everybody knows who the tougher football team is.
There you go. Coach Lewis, kind of the same question when it comes to the offense. What are 3 things the offense needs to do? If they do these 3 things, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah. Be successful at running the football, and play with maximum effort, especially in a first game. Effort and conditioning comes into play, and we believe that we are the superior team when we do that in that format. And then, honestly, the third is just enjoy the moment and having fun doing it, because that helps calm the nerves down. Yes, it's the first game and things like that, but as long as you're having fun doing it and just playing our game, we'll be just fine.
Guys, thank you very much for coming in today. I'm looking forward to talking with you a little later in the week to get some pregame interviews in, talk with a player as well. I'm looking forward to do those features again this year, and I'm looking forward to going to Canton, Missouri with y'all. This is going to be fun.
It's good to be back, Tel.
Brandon is super pumped about Runza.
Runza is so sweet.
Especially all their desserts.
Oh, those are the sweetest.
Chocolate, vanilla, and twist ice cream cones, 4 flavors of shakes, chocolate chip cookies, and ice cream sandwiches.
Literally sweet.
Aw, I love your enthusiasm.
Well, I love Runza.
So sweet of you. Come satisfy your sweet tooth. Because Runza makes it all better.
Runza on Broadway by Menards in Yankton.
Did you know Sherco offers more than egg tarps? As an industry leader in construction, waste, and flatbed tarping systems, Sherco offers manual and electric tarp systems for not only grain trailers and grain carts, but also side dumps, end dumps, belly dumps, roll-offs, flatbeds, and more. To learn more, give us a call at 1-800-474-8756 or find us at Sherco.com. Demand the best, demand Sherco.
Brand names like Ashley Furniture, Lazy Boy, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic fill our sales floor and our warehouses. At Slumberland, we're passionate about what we sell: furniture, mattresses, and home decor. We take pride in selling high-quality products at a great price. You deserve to have the home you want, and at Slumberland, we want to help you achieve it. Live in the home of your dreams. See us at Slumberland in Yankton, 2401 Broadway.
Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more. All at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmick cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. For your convenience, you can call and order curbside pickup or order online at meatlodge.com. The Meat Lodge in Yankton, on the way to the lake on Highway 52.
That's going to do it for the Lancer Locker today. My name is Tel Tanner. This is KYNT 102.1 FM, AM 1450. That is a Mount Marty football versus Culver Stockton this upcoming Saturday, 5 p.m. over in Missouri. Steve Toom, Braden Butler, and I are all traveling over there to cover that game, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to you guys. All of the games. This year, I'm looking forward to bring it to you. Once again, next week on the Lancer Locker, we've got a bit of a surprise in store for you. I'm very excited. A couple of guys from the Mount Marty football team. We just confirmed this morning that we can do it. A couple of guys, a couple of brothers in big roles from Mount Marty University football. That should tell you who's coming in. But if not, you're going to have to wait to find out till next Monday. Once again, Jacob Lambeth is going to be in the booth on Friday. We're going to talk with him before we go to Missouri. That'll be a lot of fun as well. We've got a lot going on with Mount Marty football, and I'm very excited to bring you this coverage. Make sure to follow us on KYNT 1450 on our Facebook and our Twitter, or X, I guess, handles, where you can find some updates, information about anything Lancers and our coverage. That's going to do it for the Lancer Locker today. Once again, a thank you to both the coaches I got to talk to. My name is Tel Tanner. This has been the Lancer Locker.